All right. This is a keep. Got the 2-drop Goblin. Don't have any blue mana, but I still think this hand's worthy of keeping. It's a good split of spells and lands. Hey, that was familiar. Opening with the Pain land is interesting. Alright, well, pretty well fixed at this point. I've got a feeling Goggles could do something this game. There's a decent chance. And Sent to Sleep, if we find our Willbender, could also be quite good. Fetid Imp. Alright, the card's good. Watercourse is a good draw. Let's go Scout first, though. Let's just get our 2-drop out there. Granted, we don't get to... hey, you know what I just realized? I'm surprised I didn't realize this, but Subterranean Scout. Actually, another card that's good with Willbender. You could target one of their guys, like a Fetid Imp, and steal it. Willbender is pretty sweet. I hope it works out for us, if we ever see it. I'm pretty hopeful this Goggles does something this game. Watercourser next turn is pretty nice, though. Like I said, the flexibility of it is pretty cool. Alright, and Tuco Husk, not that busted. We'll take our 1 damage, and yes, we are going to be swinging with our Subterranean Scout. I can almost guarantee that our opponent's taking it. And Tuco Husk is typically a card you want to play with other things in mind, like tokens that you want to sacrifice and such. So we're going to go for the race. So once we get to Goggles, we actually are already at Volcanic Rambler point. So really, I'd like to just draw some spells like Dragon Fodder and stuff. Be nice for the Goggles. But I think we're officially good on lands at this point. Although they all feed the Rambler to a certain extent, I guess. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's any reason I want to keep it around. I guess Fiery Conclusion. I'm going to take this. I think I can do better than chumping 2 damage. And like I said, I have Fiery Conclusion, so being able to play a Goggles and then play a Conclusion and sack my Watercourser seems pretty good. There's Dragon Fodder. All right, so we're going to hold up on that Dragon Fodder until I get those Goggles down. Although, admittedly, it's a couple turns away, but I think we can afford to take a little bit of beats. I guess I could have kept... Yeah, I guess I could have kept the Scout back to block the Husk. I probably should have. I mean, he's slightly ahead on the race right now, so it kind of makes sense. No plays. Oh, that's interesting. There's a Will Breaker. That's pretty nice. We don't have a second blue for it yet, but I have a feeling he's got some removal. I think we're just going to play Goggles and pass. I'd rather reduce the damage we take to 1. I think that's probably better. So now I'm in a position where if I draw a blue mana, I get to go Will Breaker plus Dragon Fodder copied. I can play Volcanic Rambler, which might just walk into some removal. Oof, that guy's good. I want to steal that. I think we play the Rambler first, although Dragon Fodder gives us some good chump time. That probably is better. But my thinking with Rambler was it motivates him to use removal on it. There we go. Okay, so now if I can get my second blue, I can do some nasty, nasty stuff. I think we just play fodder and pass for now. Well, yeah, I guess as soon as he kills Willbreaker, he gets his guys back, though. Which makes it... But getting 4 guys lets me block with a lot of stuff. I might just chump for a little bit. So, I guess he taps this, which is fine. I mean, I can send to sleep. It gives me spell mastery, but doesn't set me up for a very good will breaker. My thinking of send to sleep is it sets me up for a better fiery impulse, so I can just kill Sentinel for 1 mana, which is pretty good. But I may want to hold up on that. Alright, Fetid Imps. Thankfully, they're not, like, busted against us. They're still pretty good against our army of 1/1s. No, I should have attacked with that one, I think, but I don't know why I didn't attack with his other thing either. Chump with the Courser. He did his job. No plays, 1 card left in his hand. Alright, so now we get to go Willbreaker. I think I'm actually going to bait the removal. It just really seems like a good idea, because if we can bait our opponent's removal, if he had, like, I feel like our opponent's motivated to use removal on the Volcanic Rambler. Because we can deal damage with it. But if he's not, then next turn I can just slam a Will Breaker, Fiery Impulse, steal. Although, yeah, I mean, he can just sack in response. But even then, it's like, that's pretty good for me. Let's go Rambler first. I mean, granted, since he can tap it down, he's probably not highly motivated to kill it, but I still think it's a bit of a bait, since it does have a activated ability that is of some use. I almost want to, Fiery Impulse the Husk and an Imp, but the problem is he can just sack the Imp and keep his Husk. So I guess it's not quite as good. I can also double block the Sentinel and Fiery Impulse it, but all right. Well, I think we're going for it here. Hey, there's a Pile Driver. Let's go Will Breaker. And we do want to do it first. Oh my god, he did not sacrifice in response. Which does not necessarily mean that everything's all good. No reason to swing a 6/4 into a Fetid Imp. He can have removal here for sure. Concession. That was definitely not a wise concession on his part, unless he literally had no removal left in his deck. I don't think that was the best idea, but so Meteorite actually seems quite good as a means to kill his 1/2 flyers, but I was pretty happy to see Pyromancer's goggles work in conjunction with Willbreaker. That was pretty cool. Did we see any artifacts? I don't believe we did. Nivix Barrier. Bone to Ash might be decent. We know he's got the 4/6. Pile Driver does not seem all that good. But I don't really feel comfortable cutting creatures either. Thralling Victor rather, at least has some synergies with Fiery Conclusion too, which is kind of cool. Bone to Ash. I really don't know. I'm not quite sold on it yet. It's not bad, but it took us a little while to get double blue. That was just draws, though. Let's keep it the same. All right, we'll keep it. We have double blue, double red. We've got some decent spells. I wonder if I immediately draw Willbreaker, would I hold up the Scout to steal something? Probably not. Thankfully, his Weight of the Underworld does not deal with our Willbreaker, which is kind of nice, actually. Problem is Disperse also does not work. Ooh. That's actually... That was like probably the best draw we could get, since it works so well in conjunction with our 2-drop spell. And it almost looks like we're playing a Goblin Tribal deck at this point. And the Menace is pretty nice. Okay. He gets a little bit of value, but we're still in pretty good shape. So we go Scout. And I probably offer Scout for Cleric. I'm just going to presume he has more than one in his deck. He might not. I mean, it's still a 2-mana 2/2, so nothing wrong with that. But I think it's in our best interest to do the trade. It also makes it so he can't block our Menace guy as easily. All right, it's just chilling out. Looks like we are too. Not quite worth dispersing the Stalwart Aven, I don't think. So we'll hold up on that. Looks like he's going to get some Renown action going, but that's all right. All right. So when he moves to equip, we'll disperse, and then he can't replay it. Plus we get a nice 4 damage swing in. Which is a good tempo play for us. Plus it feeds our spell mastery. So I guess if he has another land, though, he can still play his Stalwart thing plus equip next turn. Just a bit of an issue. I may want to leave back my Subterranean Scout for that reason, but he can just sack and kill it anyway, so maybe it is better to just get some damage in. Alright, a little bit land heavy, but nothing to be done. So if I swing with both, maybe I do just swing with I don't mind if he sacks Throwing Knife, actually, so we'll just swing with the Glory Chaser. See, like, if he equips it up, I don't want to take 4. I'd rather have him just sack the Throwing Knife to kill my Scout, which I think is actually better. Alright, did have the 5th land, so he can do both. Let's see if he equips. Oh, he's got, okay. Hopefully he doesn't mill anything too good from us, but actually he could end up just fueling our spell mastery in a good way. Maybe he mills himself, though, you never know. He did mill himself. Okay, so it looks like he's making himself some spell mastery. Got rid of 4 spells, though, all of which are pretty good ones, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Although he can get this back from it, that's pretty cool. That's some good synergy on his part, I'll give him that. Plus he has 2 creatures to do it with, too, so that's pretty impressive. That worked out actually pretty well for him. Alright, I don't mind drawing these Ramblers right now, but I don't have a good attack. So we know he's got the 1/3 Renowned Flyer, and everything else is an unknown at the moment. At least this thing can't block, I guess. I'm trying to think if he equips Throwing Knife, maybe I just double block it, but I don't love it. Okay, that one first. No equip. I'll double block if he attacks with Return Centaur. I think. Actually, maybe I'd just take 2. It seems odd that he would. Although he probably just wants to. And no play. So he leaves up 4 mana. That's interesting. That would be indicative of removal of some sort. Since why would you not replay your 1/3 renown guy. I think regardless, I'm going to have to get through some removal, so let's just bust out big dude. If he deals with the first one, we'll make him deal with the second one. That was weird. Okay, so I just don't know why he didn't play his renown flyer. It would have just made sense. Or equip. Like, I just don't get it. Why I wouldn't have done either of those. This throwing knife actually seems pretty good. I like this card. +2/+0 is good, or sack it when attacking to kill something is good as well. Seems better than the veteran's armament. Can't attack a block and... Oh, that one's pretty good. All right. Equipping that now. All right. Let's see if he sacks the throwing knife or not. I think we do block if he does not sack the throwing knife, because he can't bring the despoiler back right away. Okay, so we'll just clear off his guys. I'm okay with that. And we'll play another Rambler. Still don't quite have spell mastery just yet. This is where a will breaker would be pretty good. So I'm going to take this. I think I want to keep my Rambler around. Doesn't feel like a great trade for me. All right. It's an easy fiery impulse target. And that one too. So I suppose I can just start clearing the way. Well, I may want to open with Abbott. Although, I guess not. Well, maybe. All right, let's open with Abbott. I'm interested in what we... Because it could just be a land, too. Watercourser. That's actually okay. So I can play it the whole turn, I imagine. Till end of turn. All right, so let's Impulse Imp. Swing with Rambler. Okay. That's all right. Drop our water courser, and then we'll pass. We're still doing okay on the racing front. Plus, we have a fully spell-mastered Fiery Impulse and Send to Sleep at this point, which is pretty good. Could really mean the difference here, honestly. Plus, we've got activated ability at some point, which I presume to be pretty good for us. Thinking he might be motivated to sacrifice Throwing Knife now for Abbott, but maybe not. Alright, it's a bummer. I think we're just going to take this. Obviously not thrilled about it, but I don't really have a clear choice anymore. So I think we just take 8. Like I said, not too happy about it, but I think it's just going to be the way it is. Hoping he doesn't have a follow-up play. Well, that's unfortunate for us that it's also a 5-drop and a very good creature. So looks like this game's just about wrapped up. Did not quite draw out of this bad situation. Opponent just unfortunately had good value plays with the spoiler and did not get the cards that we needed to pull this one out, unfortunately. Yeah, and then we just drew a land, so it doesn't do anything. I think this game is... And it can deal to the player, too. Holy jeez. That's pretty rough. That is pretty bad. Yeah. All right. Well, that's unfortunate, but it happens. Maybe my best bet is trying to time my opponent out, since we do have to go to game 3. Just drag this game out as long as I can. So begin combat step will tap. All right. Well, that's fine. We'll tap the Centaur and the Stalwart Avon. And this could actually go reasonably well for us, to be honest. Decently. Not great, but decently. I think the plan is... No attacks is pretty interesting, too. All right, well, it gives us more time. The longer this game goes, the better chance we have winning game 3 just via time. Chandra's Fury is not the worst. Not the worst. Can I beat my opponent if I just attack? I can only 3, 6, 10. I can only deal 10 at most. So I think... Or can I deal more than that? I've got 7. So I guess I can deal 11. I can deal 11 damage. Because it's 3 when I get the prowess. Double pump this. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. That's close. Not quite enough, though. All right, I guess we wait it a turn then. I mean, he pretty clearly has to go for the win here. And we are draining his clock, which is great. And I think we are going to get some good value plays here. It's pretty dependent on... He didn't attack with the ghoul, which is also interesting. Let's see if he throws the old throwing knife or if he's just going to chill on that. The nice thing is... Let me think. If he throws it, I guess I don't care. I can keep my guy alive, but if I do that now, he doesn't throw the throwing knife, you know? So let's see if he throws the throwing knife, because even if he does, I still get to kill his attackers. All right, he didn't, so it's actually better for us, I think. So I think the play is block, pump, pump. And I do want to use Chandra's Fury pre-damage because I want to kill this despoiler. I mean, we're still dead next turn regardless of what happens here. All right. Unfortunately... Yeah, he didn't have the... All right, well, it's not as bad, I guess. We're still dead next turn, but we got some good, valuable time off our opponent's clock, which I think is relevant. Every second counts at this point. And him making decisions like that is like completely irrelevant. All right. Bust out the old dragon fodder. He already knows about it being in our deck, so I don't mind playing it and just, you know, getting every valuable second off our opponent's clock. I think we'll swing here. Maybe scare him. Suppose I could have fiery impulsed it, but that's okay. I like that throwing knife. I'm going to have to try that card sometime. It seems pretty good. Targeted itself. Or did he target me? Probably targeted me. All right. He got us. He's got less than 3 minutes left, so, I mean, that gives me some confidence for sure, but does not necessarily mean it's over. So I can do Smash to Smithereens. I'm not entirely sure that's necessary. I think everything else is fine. We'll keep it the same and go to game 3. All right. We'll play first. This looks like a keep. This looks like a hand that draws a game out more than 3 minutes. Opponent's definitely playing vigorously, understandably. I think we're going to open with the Gear Crafter. I guess Water Courser's not bad, though. Yeah, I guess Water Courser now because it blocks the Ghoul. All right. It's decisions he has to make. I like that. Seems good for us. He also did it pre-combat, which means I don't have to worry about a combat trick. I think he probably should have just swung since he's in a big hurry. Since neither of I can't trade anyway, and I may have not have blocked. I'm not sure if I would have, because I have the Disperse in hand too, to be honest. I don't think I want to attack. I definitely behooves me to force him to attack into me. Yeah, I mean, this I would take, because I can just, all right, he figured he didn't have enough time, so, all right, cool. We got it via time. I'll take it, whatever. We'll see you in round 2.